Good afternoon from me, or good morning. I don't know from which part of the world you are, but I think that some of you in. Hello, Maggie, Nevena, Vlagica, Biljana, Tank. I'm not
Hello.
sure about the name, Teo, and Lucas. If you don't mind, turn on the camera just to be sure that you're here. Maggie, you can take your dog with you. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that's not my dog.
It's not your dog. Okay. We do have this academical way of waiting for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Tank, can you hear me? Tank, I'm not sure how do I pronounce your name. Tank, am I right? I think you cannot hear me. Vlagica, try to mute from your side because I don't have that option, please. Yeah, thank you, Maggie.
Yes, I would suggest just people to mute themselves because then it's too much noise. And then if you want to ask a question, you just unmute. I think that's better.
Okay, yeah. Lucas is here. I don't know. I think we do have people from Malaysia, if I'm not sure. Yeah, there. Lucas and Tank are from Malaysia. Biljana, doesn't matter if your makeup, your hairstyle, just turn on the camera if you don't mind. Let's see the beautiful face. We do have 45 participants, but I don't know. Biljana?
Okay, now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for inviting me, Alexandra. Thank you very much.
I hope that you will enjoy. Let's see how many people they're going to go to join us. The interest was high level, and I'm surprised why they didn't join us yet. But let's see. I don't know. Maggie?
Yes.
Where do you live, if you don't mind to ask you?
I'm from Malaysia.
Ah, you're from Malaysia. Great.
Yeah.
Great. I don't know Lucas and Theo. They don't want
Lucas
to.
is also from Malaysia.
Who is from Malaysia?
Lucas.
Lucas, okay. He doesn't want to show his face. What about Theo and Tank? Tank, can you see us? Can you hear us? Tank, I think she has some issue. I think she's Malaysian, same. I don't know how to speak your language, by the way. If you want, you can try.
It's okay. We speak Malaysian. You speak English.
She can understand. Great.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem. I'm so happy that you join us. We do have another experts what they have to join us, but I'm not sure. Blagica, what do you suggest, Nevena? Do you want to start or just wait for 2 minutes at 3:05?
Yeah, let's just say 2 minutes and then
2 more minutes.
Yeah.
Academically, yes, it's just 5 minutes. We do have exception like, hello, yes, Tang also Malaysian. Hi, Tang, and hi, Lucas. Hi to you guys. I don't know about Theo. Vlagica, what about the people from Gestalt over there?
I don't know.
Did
they
you share
have a
the
link.
with them?
All of them are informed and received the link, so it's up to them. But in Macedonia, academic time is 50 minutes to half an hour, so it's a different culture. 5 minutes, not enough. Usually they late 15 to half an hour, and it's okay.
Maggie,
no, I'm always on time. I usually give 5, maximum 10 minutes, and then I start because it's respectful for other people who are here, and who is late, they're late. So
no, I'm just mentioning it's cultural issue that usually people are joining, but later.
let's do so many presentations, either forget or they're doing something else last minute. So let's.
I'm waiting for Anna and Valentina. They have something they're doing. They say they can join us later on. And okay, one more minute and let's do it. How you're doing there with Corona?
We are so far so good. We are improving. We already flattened the curve.
Perfect. Are you, let me ask you, are you parent or teacher?
I am actually the administrator of a center, special children.
Then you will participate with the...
Yeah, I got two teachers. I got two teachers with me today.
You do have. You don't have access to computers? Okay, if you don't mind, you're on the computer or on the phone?
Phone.
You're on the phone. Okay, never mind. Nevena, Blagica, can we start? Who will join us? It's fine, Blagica, you can control from there. Thank you for all of you. Hopefully that another people, they're going to join us later on. Thank you for Blagica for accepting this, this adventure to do it together. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Alexandra Schumer, doctor in applied psychology and special education. I'm REBT therapist, CBT therapist, speech therapist, ABA therapist. Now I started doing the Gestalt. I'm the new one in that one. Isra is here. Isra, hello.
Hello, dear. Hello, my dear.
Hello.
I missed you. How are you doing? I'm very happy I'm with you.
It's perfect. It's good to see you here again, Blagica. For sure that you remember her.
Yes.
Blagica, Isra, are you still in Saudi?
Yes, I do. I do still here.
Perfect. Let me introduce. We are going to discuss. I will give you a chance to introduce to yourself one by one. But first of all, Blagica is with me. She will introduce herself, but Nevena is for the first time in the webinar. And it's my pleasure to have you here. I didn't see you for 3 months, I think. And this is the one and only way to see the people what they're close to me. And Nevena Bajalat, she's a master in special education, child development specialist and parenting coach. And she's the author of book Nursery Yes or No and Successful Parenting. Nevena, thank you again for being with us. And
thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
I will give you 1-2 minutes. Introduce yourself more. Tell us who you are, and we can start this path together.
Well, first, thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited to share just the knowledge and to share your experiences as well. So my background, I'm from Serbia originally. My bachelor and master's is in special needs, and I specialize in child development and especially in motor development of children. And back in Serbia, I volunteered 5 years in our biggest orphanage that we have 400 plus children with special needs. So this was a huge experience for me where, you know, I went fresh. I was still a university student and I was so excited and I'm like, oh, everything I'm learning, I want to apply. And then once I was there, I realized, okay, this is not working. What is working? So I started looking for answers. I started working with therapists, speech therapists, and different therapists to learn things that are really going to help children in practice. And this is where I'm passionate about. Moving to Dubai, just very quickly, I was managing nurseries here and consulting nurseries, but I'm very passionate about coaching and supporting parents to build harmonious families and build strong families, because unfortunately I'm coming for broken family, and this is something that was inside of me that I really love to do. And I'm mostly coaching parents. One of my books is published. Another one is done. It should be published soon as well. So I'm looking forward to share with you in the future. And feel free to just connect with me on social media. I think we can type in the chat. I'm going to type my name, and then you can just connect on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we can stay in touch.
Thank you, Nevena. Pleasure is mine to be with us here and share your huge experience what you have in this field. Blagica, please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you for the invitation, Alexandra. It's a real pleasure to organize this third webinar together. Regarding my experience, I'm a psychologist, psychotherapist, director of the Gestalt Institute in Skopje, currently living in Skopje. So my master is in psychology and counseling. I have a doctorate degree in the organizational psychology, and 20 years I'm more or the most oriented towards learning, and after that training and supervising Gestalt therapy. However, I have a lot of experience in working on different projects with different marginalized groups and special needs groups, if I can say, in the non-governmental sector, public sector here, and in the Balkan region, as well as private companies. In the same time, I work with the clients, couples, with the groups that have a different kind of needs related to the mental health issues. In the last year, we organized a huge project for inclusive education here in Macedonia, because it was like a governmental decision to create and make a total inclusion into the public schools. And this is a huge challenge. So I work with a lot of primary and secondary schools, teachers, and different kind of the professionals that should implement this inclusion in all of the public and private schools in Macedonia. So more or less I become familiar with the challenges, with all of the skills that are lacking, in the same time with all of the needs that the parents and pupils have. So I'm more than willing to share this experience with you. In the same time, I have a lot of experience in working with parents that have children with special needs, and all of the struggles that are going through, the pain that they are experiencing. And I will share that aspect as well, as much as you're interested, of course. Thank you.
She's so modest, by the way. She doesn't want to share her international experience in Europe, US, but it's okay. I will accept like that. Okay, thank you again, and let's start officially. I will share please be sure that you can see the presentation. Blagica, you can assist me to, okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, let me, this is technology, by the way, and it's difficult for everyone. As we know that, I will start theoretically about that, but I would like to share your experience. We do have from the Balkan region, we do have from Malaysia, we do have from Saudi. I will consider as a Middle East. And Isra, please be sure to debate, because we plan to be the open debate and the experience and the challenges and difficulties what you're going to face. Isra is in education. Isra, if you don't mind, share some of your, introduce yourself, because it's good to know from where you're coming, what is your field, what is your passion, because I know you personally. I'm not feeling comfortable. I will say the best, and you are the best, if you ask me. But please introduce yourself shortly and briefly.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Isra. I've been working in the educational field. It's my 10th year now. Actually, my challenge is that Dr. Alexandria said that I want to have a perfect parenting education that you're offering right now, because in my classroom I got 20 students, and I would love to be with them in, let's say, an open book, to let the parents to be connected with me through their child. I just finished my master's degree that was discussed with Dr. Alexandria. It's all about education. And according to the special need, actually, at this age, to is very important to me and significant because my brother is deaf and mute, and we consider him as a special needs since he was 4 months. So this means a lot to me when we discuss about the special needs. Thank you very much, and I would love all of you. You're gonna join and enjoy this presentation.
You, lovely.
Yeah.
You're like to interrupt me anytime, please feel free. And any of you, this is the open debate, is not lecturing. Biljana, please enjoy and join us anytime with your experience, with your opinion, your challenges, what you're facing daily. By the way, with Biljana, we are doing NLP together, and we know each other from there. I mean, we never met, but we know each other from Zoom sessions. Yeah. Special needs. I mean, in the UAE, and Isra, correct me if I'm wrong, they are changing from special need to people or kids with determination. I don't know, did they change in Saudi? Oh,
no, this is true. This is literally true.
Is it same with the special need?
Yeah, and also we have to consider here in Saudi special needs for any disability in the body.
Yes.
Yes, true.
But never here, we used to do the term determination. That is the new terminology what Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health, they start to use. And I will go back to Blagitsa and Biljana. I think that based on the Helsinki commit, they're changing to not special. They're replacing special with unique. Am I right?
True.
I would just like to add, Alexandra, I know in Serbia as well, even when I was back in university, we try to avoid special needs because we would say they still have the same needs. They have a need for education, they have a need for love, they have a need for food, but they are fulfilling these needs in a different way. So these needs, they still have the same needs as we have, but they need a support in fulfilling those needs. So it is a kind of term that definitely needs changing. But in English language, it's still present and it's still the most popular one.
True. Actually, here as well in Saudi Arabia, they're trying to change this terminology to have capable persons. This is what they're gonna call them.
Capable, how they're going with the to change the terminology. Okay, I know that. I think that you know that in UAE they use the people with determination. That is the Levina. Am I right? I think yes, determination.
Yes, they're changing to determination.
Yeah, determination. Okay, Maggie, please feel free if you want to share the terminology what you're using in Malaysia, but we are facing over here every day in the school. Blagitsa, sorry, I forgot to tell you to record because I cannot do from my side.
Yeah, I'm doing it, no problem.
Perfect.
I just wanted to mention that probably every single language has different terminology. So we have like a few words that currently are used into the legislation and in the documents that we are using. However, some of them we cannot translate, like we cannot say that the meaning of certain word is exactly like special in English. So it's up to the language, but however, we are avoiding to use some clarification that gives a label to this kind of students and people. So we avoid to label them. It's like, okay, they have maybe something unique that should be developed in order for them to be able to adapt and cope into a certain situation. But anyway, we are not using any type of words that mean labeling.
Thank you, Blagitsa. But we are facing, I and all of us as educators daily, we're facing with the gifted or talented kids, and we are not sure. I mean, for example, I have a student who is autistic child, but he's in the border with the talented or gifted child, but he belongs to autistic child. his autistic child, but to the end, when we made the test over here, we discovered that he's gifted child. I'm gonna go to share shortly. I'm not going to take a lot of time for the, this is the let me just move the, you can see the disabilities. I use the term disabilities because I was thinking it's the most familiar for everyone. And this is the basic disabilities or determination what the kids and the adults can have it. Emotional, social one, intellectual one, sensory, speech and language difficulties, learning difficulty, behavioral difficulties, and physical disabilities. Now, the question is, I faced, I'm not going to say where because we're not here to judge the things, but some of the countries in the world, there is no standardization of the belongingness of the level of disability. Why? Because there is no proper standardization of the IQ test. And based on that, people, they cannot, I mean, the ministers of health, ministers of education, they're not able to do the proper standardization. I would like to ask Maggie. Maggie?
Yes.
Maggie? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I would like to ask you, because you do work in a center for special, is it special education center or center for like a daily center? Would you like to tell me?
It's a daycare center for special needs children.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, please.
Never mind, what you want to ask? Go carry on.
I was going to ask you, do you have a standardized IQ test, what you're using there, or do you have classification of the disability?
In our center, we have different kinds of disabilities, the special needs. We have from autism to Down syndrome to difficulty in learning, slow in learning, and all that, all kinds we take in.
Okay, thank you so much, and I will come back later on to you. I'm trying to manipulate over here with my screen. Okay.
I would just like to add, Alexander, that my experience,
please go ahead.
Yes, in different countries, my experience is that you know, as we studied in a similar territory, and it's a really old university, and we're very familiar with, you know, dyspraxia, dyslexia, and other smaller disabilities. But unfortunately, these days, you know, so many children are labeled as autistic children because they don't know about these smaller and different types. And if you remember, when we started, when we learned, autism was very specific. There was absence of language and communication. There is absence of social interaction. There are stereotypes, right? And now it's a spectrum because we have children who are speaking and we still label them autistic. So we are kind of confused. Before it was very clear picture. Now it's a spectrum. So, but however, unfortunately, I saw so many, and it's usually clinical psychologists, which I don't put any blame, but they're the one who usually have to give the diagnosis. And it's also a lack of a system how we do it. So the psychologist will just be in their office, right? You bring a child for 1 hour. Even a healthy child doesn't feel confident, doesn't feel comfortable to express themselves there. So how are you able to observe in like 30 minutes or 1 hour and diagnose a child for the rest of their life? So this is the issue that I have with the system, where I believe that we need to observe this child and we need not just label them. So even if you say autism, what this means, is the child speaking? How are they? How are they with the social skills? We need to look at their skills, not at the label, because it doesn't tell you anything. If you tell me cerebral palsy, I know people with cerebral palsy who walk, who talk, who are absolutely fine. And I work with children and people with cerebral palsy who literally live like a plant. They are on the machines, they cannot breathe. So the idea
and they're in the same basket.
Exactly. So you put them in the same basket, and the parents get so paranoid because you gave this label. They get so scared when you tell them it's autism, it's cerebral palsy. Yes, it helps us understand what, but you have to look every child individually. What is their skill, a social emotional skill? What is their personal skill? What are their independence level? What is their intellectual level, intellectual skills? And this is how we have to work and where we come.
Thank you, Nevena. I'm going to explain to you one by one. If you have some questions regarding the anything regarding the slide, please go ahead. Otherwise, I mean, let me just shortly. Emotional and social can be depression, anxiety, autism, ADHD, intellectual disability, brain damage, and Down syndrome. Again, here, Blagica, I will take you as an expert over here. Can we say that Down syndrome is an intellectual disability, but not emotional social difficulties? Why did they classify as an intellectual disability?
I think that all of the syndromes are genetic, and that they already have the information which is clarified, so they can confirm this. And probably in order to make the classification easier, they belong into this, if I can say, intellectual disability part, even though it's a combination of many different things. And as Nevena mentioned, it's never a clear picture. So we have a diagnosis just from my side, from my experience, diagnosis can serve only for statistics. So it's never clear picture, it's never only one thing, it's many different issues or many different aspects that are healthy in one person. So we cannot just, as I mentioned previously, put the label and discuss about one person through the label or through the diagnosis. It's a completely wrong approach according to my experience. And usually medical doctors or people that work in the clinics get stuck a lot when they put the diagnosis and they approach completely the person through the diagnosis. So what we are trying to do now is to avoid this, not to avoid the diagnosis, but just to have it like some guidance, but not to get stuck into it. So later on,
avoid the perception and labels, what we are going to discuss later on about that one.
Yeah, we will discuss later on about it. So I just want to mention, if there are parents in the group, not to get stuck with it, because usually what I'm seeing is, you know, mother or a father who are, they have a child which is 2 or 3 years and already diagnosed with some developmental disability, and because they don't have any background in any humanistic professions, they are so much afraid about what will happen with the child that the whole focus is the diagnosis in the family, in the kindergarten, outside when the child is playing with other children. So the complete focus is what is happening with the child now. It's like, you know, you are all the time seeing the child like not normal. And this is something that actually is completely wrong approach to help to the child. It's not something that is helpful.
Correct. Thank you. Let me continue. The sensory impairment, what can be visual or hearing, speech and language difficulties, stuttering, delayed speech development, difficulties with the perceptive understanding of or expressive using language, learning difficulty. Usually when we are here in learning difficulties, what I face, especially over here, that we used to have only the terminology learning difficulties, and later on when you're going to develop and work on the individual lesson plan, in that case, I'm not sure that even the teachers, they're paying attention in which learning difficulties the child has some weakness or he's stuck on that one, but just we are labeling as a learning difficulties. The learning difficulty can be literacy, numeracy development, dyslexia, and I don't know, are you familiar with the Ireland syndrome? That is the disorder of the way the brain interpret light signal. It can be manifest as light sensitivity, but is more than that. When a person, let me explain to you to understand. Maybe you're facing with this type of kids, but you don't know what type of syndrome you're facing or what type of difficulties. When a person has this syndrome, their brain becomes overactive when exposed to certain wavelengths of light. And maybe you can notice autistic child when orange, red, this bright colors, and he has reaction, he has a different way of behavior. And don't be confused in this case, because exactly this autistic child or any child with any learning difficulties can have this type of syndrome. What we are not conscious that the child has this one. Behavioral difficulties is hyperactivity, what is famous here as ADHD, and antisocial behavior. Usually the ABA therapists and CBT, they're working on that one. And physical disabilities, how Nevin already mentioned, the cerebral palsy, cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, and etc. This is the basic, theoretically, how we are going to classify the disabilities. Any questions, anything what you want to add in? I can continue. Yeah, if you don't mind, please, because there is a lot of noise. Thank you. You can just unmute yourself. This is the open questions for you where we can discuss on it. This is the identification of disabilities. Why is it important to identify a specific disability in a child? Now I have dual opinion about this. I will share with you my opinion, and you can go ahead with your statement, with your opinion. Why is it important to identify specific disability? Because for me as a parent, or for me as an educator, as a teacher, I will know where is my framework, but I will become blind. I will be put in the box, and where I'm going to go out from that box, and how I'm going to go out from that box. But if I will, in this case, I will know the weaknesses of the child. But what about if I'm going to go to get the diagnosis? Am I going to get the strengths of the child? I don't think so, because the weaknesses are weaknesses. We cannot fix that one. It's difficult. You know that as an educator, it's difficult to fix the weaknesses with a child without disabilities. But imagine, you know the weakness of the special needs child, and now what we are going to do. Again, as an educator or as a parent, I'm not going to take the diagnosis with the strength of the child. This is much more important for me. And as an educator, we have to work on it. We have to work on the strength, on the skills of the child. We will discover what are the key points, key skills for that kid, and just work on it. This is my opinion, because in my experience, usually I'm ignoring the weaknesses. Yes, I will read, I know, and that's it. Anybody, parent, teachers over here, you want to say something, please? This is the open questions where we are going to discuss what are some advantages and disadvantages of labeling a child with a disability. And Evan already mentioned that we're going to put just the label, and yes, it's autistic child, cerebral palsy, ADHD child. Usually, I don't know, Evan, I'm going to go to agree with me or not. Here, I know only ADHD and autistic child, and that's it, nothing else. But to the end, yes, it's autistic based on the requirements for autistic child, but I'm not sure that it's autistic child. Then what are some common indicators of delayed development in young children? As an educator, I have to know, okay, let me take Nevin as an example. As a consultant in the nurseries, she has to know all the milestones for the kids, for the EYFs. And then how we're gonna go to work with this? How we gonna go to advise the parents? How we're gonna go to recommend, and what we are going to recommend to the parents? It's up to us as educators, with the institutions, with the psychologists, with the special need educators, with the parents together, and with the community. Please feel free. Open. This is open discussion.
I'd like to add, Alexandra, that especially nurseries here in Dubai for a few years, it's very hard for parents to understand that there is delay. And we as specialists, we know how important 3 years, 4 years, 6 years are. And what you can do when the child is 2 years, you cannot do when he's 7. And parents, by that time, they accept, which we know why, because they say the pain of finding out that your child has a severe disability is the same pain as losing a child. Why? Because you had all this image, I'm gonna have a daughter or a boy, and he's gonna go to school, he's gonna have friends, and we're gonna go, I don't know, out for lunch, and then we're gonna travel in the summer for holidays, then he's gonna get married, he's gonna go to university. And now somebody labels your child and tells you your child is autistic, and everything you imagine, like, will he be able to go to school? How I'm gonna take him to the airplane? How I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna travel? Will he go to university? Will he be independent? So the pain, it's really so strong for the parents. That is the pain of losing the child, because you're losing the whole imagination and the pictures you painted in your head. So this is why we understand. However, it is so much better when parents are ready and they see and they say, hey, I accept this. Because then when we do early intervention, when we do therapy early on, we can really change the life of the child. And this is where we have to educate the parents who really do not get stressed with the labeling, to say, okay, I can see my child is struggling. So many children, I specialize in motor development, right? So many children, you know, they can have hip dysplasia, they can have struggles to walk or stroll. And when we do therapy so early on, by the time child is 2 years old, all of this will be fixed. So it's so important that parents accept this, because this doesn't, okay, we label the child, okay, hip dysplasia or spina bifida or cerebral palsy, but this doesn't mean that this is the future of the child. This says, okay, let's take action now. We spotted that there is a delay, there is something going on, whatever the name is, but let's take action, because this is when we can change the course of child life. And this is where the biggest struggle still is. And I do believe it's just, you know, informing the parents, because I saw parents who accepted it, are working, so much progress. And then those parents who unfortunately, but you know, funny fact is, when you go to school, they're not gonna pamper you, they're just gonna tell you, you need a shadow teacher, that's it. So instead of accepting it earlier, when we, you know, have to like try and see how we're gonna tell them, I can see when the child is autistic when he's a 1 year old, and even a baby, you can see the signs, yeah, and you can start working on that. But usually parents will accept it after 2, 2.5, when there is no language, no communication, no social skills. And then they go to school, they're hoping, okay, maybe something's going to change. And then they lost 4 years where we could have changed something. And then they go to school, and the school just tell them,
Blagica, please mute the participants, because we cannot hear anything.
I'm doing it constantly, but
you
the
do have an
situation
option.
is changing.
Yeah. Okay. Nevena, good that you mentioned that shadow teachers. If you ask me, I'm against that. I'm against the shadow teacher, because the child knows that and become the parasite, because it's sure that I have the back. I have a background that somebody gonna go to prepare my books, somebody will write for me. Sorry, somebody will take my books and take it at home and do it for me at home. And that's the reason why these kids, they're not become independent in the school. I don't know, Blagica, do you have over there the shadow teachers who are following, or Biljana is in education? Let me see Biljana, because I cannot see. There are 20 people and I cannot see. Biljana?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, are you fine with you to share? Do you have a shadow teachers there? I don't know. Are you familiar with this word?
No, I don't know exactly. Sorry if my English is bad. I haven't been. I haven't spoke English.
Haven't been spoke. May I ask Biljana on our language, and I will try to translate, ladies?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Biljana, da li imate, Neli, ona što je kao shadow teacher, što se Боже, не знам ни на нашите го преведам.
Не знам, прв пат го слушам ова, навистина shadow teacher, нешто како во позадина, не го разбирам баш искрено.
Значи, кое што ќе биде стип за залепено за детето.
Аха, тоа е како дефектолог во смисла? Значи
Не.
нешто такво?
Буквално кое што ќе се и нон-стоп со детето.
Значи ние
Како асистент.
Асистент имаме, да. Да, не знам дека е на англиски shadow teacher. Асистенти, да, имаме, да. Асистенти.
А колку на едно дете, колку имате асистенти?
Па од искуство, например, јас значи не сум била асистент затоа што сум наставник во одделенска настава и мислам пред се сум за работа со речемете здрави деца сега како. Значи има многу мала обука за работа со деца со посебни потреби, со дислексија, дисграфија, сум се, значи имам сочено, да, меѓутоа со аутизам не. И ова што кажа Благица дека има обуки, значи навистина многу за пофалба од Гешталт институтот, така? Така Благица, ако раздрав?
Биљана, само да те прекинам да преведам, секунд. Да одиме со simultan превод во случајот. Okay, sorry guys, Biljana didn't practice her English for a long time. She speaks another foreign languages. We asked her, we shared her experience. Sorry guys for the language. We asked her because over there they don't use the shadow teacher, they use like a learning assistant. And usually they have assistants with the dysgraphia, dyslexia, but not for the autistic child. Am I right? I think you understood, Biljana.
Да.
Anything else what you want? Нешто друго?
Не. Па тоа, многу интересно, ново ми е вака.
Се надевам дека можеш да разбереш.
Да, разбирам, ама еве не можам да не се обрукам.
Okay.
So I just want to answer her question because she asked me about the trainings. So last year the whole year we were working on it. So it is like a governmental initiative, and every single school should invest in training of the teachers and all of the professionals that like psychologists, special needs educators. So they all need to go through the process of training, but it depends from the school to school. So it will be like a must, something that will be implemented probably in the next years in all of the schools. But it is like a big beginning process. We are still in the beginning. So there were a few schools last year, and hopefully this trend will continue.
Yes, that's why I didn't hear about it. Yes, and I was surprised, but very nice. Yes.
Are you done? Sorry.
Yes.
Another thing, what I'm facing over here, Nevin can share that with me. I don't know if she's here. Like pull off strategies. Isra, I think that you do have in Sao the same. Again, I'm against that one. Then why we can discuss and why we can talk about inclusion policy if you have a pull off strategy? What's the point of the inclusion? I don't know. Wait, if you want to say something, Blagica, please unmute her, or I think she can unmute herself.
She can do it.
She can do it. Okay, Isra, feel free to jump in.
Actually, I'm very involved with all of this because we are facing many issues with the parents, as Neva said. Because we have this meeting, we have a meeting with the parents to discuss, let's say, the disability with their kids, but we're going to have percentage, let's say 30%, they're going to help us and cope with us, and 70 will against this. Because many parents I face, they're busy with their work, they're busy with their own life. They usually say, our kid is only 3 years old, he's gonna be fine within a year or two. So this makes us struggle to help the disabilities, let's say. And about a point, Dr. Alex, you mentioned, in our planners, we do write some points about that we call them low achievers.
Yes.
Instead of calling them others, we have sometimes each teacher, all the teachers sitting together according to group level, and we discuss our classes that I have. Say this boy, he's struggling in counting.
But Isra,
so we have
Isra, let me interrupt you. But low achiever, is not, it's related with academically. We are not talking about disability.
Yeah, according no, we let's say it's integrated with this. If it's low achievers, we're gonna say why. Okay, he got he's stuttering. I faced many students who are stuttering, and because they're not confident enough, so we're working on the social skills and the communication skills to give him the ability to feel confident to talk with even stuttering issue. So
because let me explain to you. I mean, in UAE over here, we do have low achiever, medium achiever, and high achievers, and is a separate graph for learning difficulties.
Okay.
Because you cannot put the low achiever kids as kids with the learning difficulties. Please, Nevena, you can join us in this debate.
Yeah, I agree because low achiever can be a child who is not doing homework, he doesn't have support at home, and his grades are low. So he's a low achiever, he's not achieving, he's not interested in school for some reasons. But he's not a child with disabilities, right? So he's not a child that has any time, he maybe needs emotional support in a way that maybe something's happening at home and why he doesn't want to study. And some children simply don't like school. And this doesn't mean they're low achievers in school, but they can be very successful later in life. Because if you build their confidence, if they, some people will not go to university, even high school, they will be mechanics, they're going to fix cars, they can become very successful and have successful business. So this will not label a child why he was a low achiever in school that he will not succeed in life. So I believe those crucial skills like confidence and independence, decision making are so important for children. But to stay with the topic of today, as this is definitely not the child, they shouldn't be put in the same box, because low and you can also have children with disabilities, let's say blind children or deaf children, they can be high achievers, but they're still high ability. So it has to be separated.
This is the base of the Ministry of Education in Saudi?
No,
or
actually,
it's a school policy.
It's a school policy. In the international baccalaureate, we've got the planners, and we have these, let's say, terminologies, because to say special needs student, it's not something that we would love to say with the parents and with the high society people. So that's why we're covering this by saying supported students, students who needs more attention. This is what we say.
But you said an interesting word, covering, and this is where society still is. We are still covering, we are still pampering the parents. We cannot tell them, hey, there is a problem, but in different countries is different, and some countries are much more open, and the parents will also, because there is awareness of it. But because in some countries is not, then we are pampering the parents. They're going to be angry. How you dare to say that my child has a problem? They're going to literally tell you that. And this is where we have to, as a society, it's going to take a little bit of time, but as a society, we need to educate the parents to really know that there is nothing wrong. We're not labeling your child. We're not telling they're not going to be successful. We are telling you, let's take some action now. They need the support now. But we are covering because, we kind of, and let's be honest, I'm very open about this. In Middle East, education is a business. So you do things to keep business going. Back home at country, it's a government, it's free education. It's not perfect, especially when it comes to children with disabilities. They don't have enough support because the system is not good enough. But here, it's really a business. So I manage nurseries, and you have to pamper the parents. You have to tell them because they're your clients and you don't want to lose it. And this is something that one of the reasons why I wanted to resign, because I said I want to stay true to who I am and what I believe, and not about the business and the money. It's also going to school 3 years old when they should know the letters and alphabet. Everybody who studied child development knows that children 3 years old didn't lateralize their hands.
Correct.
So why are you giving them the pencil to write when they still don't have left of a right? It's because it's a business, right? So they want to take the money. Children start 3-year-old and they need to go to school and learn the letters. We started school at 7. I have my master's. Alexandra has her doctorate. I speak 3 languages fluently. Like nothing was wrong with us, but we developed those important skills that are more important than academic skills. And this is where parents don't have the awareness. They believe if they need to read and they need to know the letters and they need to know the math, and this is where the success is.
They need to know how to subtract and make addition on year 1. Imagine.
Yes.
They're 5 years old.
Yes.
Come on.
And they don't understand. So the whole school system, and it's very, very hard to change the perception of parents to explain, look, the whole school, there is few schools that are really amazing. They're American usually schools, and they understand this. And then the parents go and they say, my child doesn't read and this child reads, and they're super amazing. And we tell them, no, trust me, like children can learn anything. Like you give them the letters, they're gonna learn the letters, but that's not the point. The point is you developing the skills that are important, and also how much pressure are you putting on the child? Because I see children, they come 4 years old, they have homeworks. Why the child have a homework? Like, what's the point of sitting 6-8 hours in school and then go home and then what, right? No, the children need to play. They need to be physically active. They need to do sports. They need to develop social skills with other children. They need to be with the family. Stop giving them classes, piano classes and this classes and that classes. They play violin 3 years old. What are we talking about? I mean, for me, this is just going, you know, fulfilling parents' needs and parents' wishes. And it goes against the child. The child doesn't even have opportunity to discover who they are and what they want. But unfortunately, this is what we deal on a daily basis. But I always stand for what I agree, and I know what is the truth. And I know there are a few schools who are also following this. So who accept children early education, but before 7 years old, they are exposed to letters, they're exposed, but they're not making these children sit and say, read this sentence. They're 5, do a subtraction, do, you know, division and so on, when they're not ready emotionally for it.
They have to learn through the game, through the understanding, not, you know, like in the communism time, sit on the chair and do your way, do your work. They have to love the school, Isra, not to go by pressure, by force. And you know, usually what we are facing with the parents, my child is the best child, and my child, you know, this deny of the things that my child has a problem. But if we're gonna go to face as a parent, as an educator, that let's face with the issue, then it will be much better to prepare the child for the real world.
To like we say, learning through playing, let's say. That will be very good. Those toddlers in 3, 4, 5 years to start learning through playing.
Correct. And you know, now we are, because you mentioned something, what you said, that the parents, they don't want to accept, the parents, they're not paying attention on it. Yes, I agree, but we can face here, especially the things that most of the time the kids, they're spending with their nannies. They're not with their parents, and the parents cannot recognize that something wrong with the child. Sorry for my expression, but you know me, how I'm teaching, and you know, even in Zoom I'm showing, I'm waving and swimming. And I mean, we are facing these things. In Europe, there is no these things. I don't know. We do have someone else here. Let me see. There is the Malaysia over there. There is Azar. If you please, the other parents, teachers, educators, please feel free, and you can share your experience. I would like to hear some experience from Malaysia. Maggie, are you with us?
Hi.
Yeah, let me see you over here. I'm trying to find you. Would you like to share some experience from your center from Malaysia? How do you do the testing of the kids? How you organize the daily activities in the center? Anyone from the participant can join. Maggie?
Hi, excuse me.
I think maybe one of my teachers can answer that for you. Lucas
Yes,
or
please.
Tang?
Yes, please. Isra, sorry I
Lucas or Tang?
interrupt you. Maybe you had something?
No, the thing that I really wanted to say about the nannies issues that makes me
Yeah, Maggie, give me a second, please. Yes, go ahead, Isra, please.
Because what I'm facing every day, that the nanny does everything. The nanny wakes the child. The nanny feeds the child. The nanny takes the child to the market. The nanny. So sometimes
Even
when I
they're
have the
bringing their
parents,
bag.
let's say, true. Oh my God.
They're
Just
pulling the
let
bag
him
after
or
them.
let the child carry his own. Let him be independent, only carrying at least the lunchbox. What I'm facing that we have two-way conference every 3 months, and we have three-way conference as well. What I'm facing that when I talk to the mommy or to the parents, I'm telling them things and they're surprised. But the nanny knows it. So when I'm talking, just keep an eye. One of my kids in the classroom, she's telling me I have 7 nannies. My nanny is the prettiest. Oh my God, no, we're not talking about this. They are well-educated nannies. I'm pretty sure they are. They're even sometimes giving the child whatever the child wants. Let's say emotional needs, physical needs. They are really good nannies. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying about parents that when we have a meeting, actually we're asking the parents to attend. We don't ask the nanny. So that's why we have a missing chain. We have a gap. Let's say we have a gap when telling the mom that I'm so sorry, but your child, this is exactly what happened with me. We want to work together because your child not attending the circle time when we discuss about the mommy was she got like a tantrum. She cried and I said, why? It's my first time to know that my kid is not sharing. I've been writing in the note. I've been sending emails, and she's just answering, oh, maybe the nanny didn't tell me. So we have this gap actually, according to this. When I tell the parents, if your child got dyslexia or your child needs to be in special classes, or they Christ. This is what I wanted to add. Thank you, Dr. Alex. Thank you, everybody.
I think it's interesting that you said that the mom had a tantrum, because this is what, this reflects on their emotional maturity, because this is how they were raised, and then the generation were raised. So if your children are not able to resolve an issue in a nursery with their friends, if we don't teach them, as an adult, they're not going to know how to resolve an issue. You're not independent as a child. How are you going to be independent and deal with all the things that come through life with you?
True.
Exactly. So, I mean, it is a cultural thing. I remember my experience coming from orphanage, coming to UAE, being in orphanage when we sometimes don't even have nappies to change children. And then coming here and parents are like making a scene, why my child has a scratch? And I'm like, what's the problem? It's a scratch, right? I couldn't understand. It took me time to understand their mentality, how they think, and how they're raised. And there is a big difference when the parents are raising their children, because they know, okay, yesterday he ran through the glass, yesterday he fell down 3 times. But when the nannies are taking care of them, they're not seeing these things, and then they're angry at the nanny, they're angry at you in the nursery, in the school, why you allow this to happen, because they have no idea how children behave, because they literally spend 30 minutes after work and then they say, nanny, give him a bath and put them to bed. So they don't raise their own children, and then, like you said, there is this big gap, and this is the big issue that we are facing also here in Middle East.
And this is exactly what you said, Ivana. It's all about business. Sometimes the administrators, when I sit and talk and I was like, I'm defending something, I say like, okay, but we don't want to lose this. This is a very well-known person. We don't want him to get bad. Or no. This is so sometimes like, okay. The nanny takes the opportunity.
In Macedonia, we have grandparents issues, not nannies.
Okay.
Okay.
Isra, that is the worst one, believe me. The worst one. The grandparents are the parents. Let me share with you one experience over here. I will share two examples with you. I had the one student in grade 10, and he was with me grade 9, 10, 11, 12. And after that, Isra, I took him at the university. He was autistic child. But you cannot imagine, he was remembering in the book and the copybook, where did he write? With what color did he highlight it? What did he write? What is the first word? What is the last word? And imagine if he missed, I don't know, sentence or a word, he used to get the tantrum because of his responsibility. And see our label. Yes, he's autistic, and let's put to the side. No, he was how Nevena mentioned, he was the high achiever student. That's the reason why he got the scholarship to the university. And later on, they moved, I don't know what's happened, because he finished 2 years with us, and later on they moved back to Jordan. Unfortunately, the mother got the cancer, and I don't know what's happened. Imagine. This is, what we are facing. Second thing, it was one case. The child wasn't in the school, and we used to, the panic, the buses, how here we have buses, the bus attendants, the bus nannies, the drivers, all the school, was just, where is the child? And to the end, we called the mother said, no, I don't know where is my, because she called that the child is not at home. When we called the second time, she said, I was in the room, I didn't see that my child is at home. Imagine, the mother has no idea that she has to wake up, prepare the child, and put the child in the bus. Nani is that one who's doing that. And this is how we are facing with these things. Isra, you are on mute. I think if you want to
I want to say something.
Go ahead, Lagitza, please.
So yeah, one perspective is the parenting issues, but I cannot say that the only issue related to special needs children is related to the parents, because I know many parents that really want to help to the child, are responsible parents, are emotionally healthy parents that give a maximum of themselves to find all of the possible solutions and services available to help the child. What I know from this perspective, because I really need to mention this, I think it's a wider issue. It's not just one point, but there are many different aspects that we can discuss related to this. So usually the issue that they have is that whenever they go to ask for help, or whenever they go to the professionals, first, as Nevena mentioned, they see the child for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and give some information like Latin word or some diagnose that express what they already know, because they go to the professional because they know that there is some delay. They are already aware about it. So they're not going to ask for that if they're not aware. So they go and say, listen, I have an issue. And they say, yes, you have an issue. And they give a diagnosis, just a Latin word to your issue. Now you know what it is. And whenever they need to start with the treatment, usually the approach is that you should treat the child outside in order to change the child inside. This is at least from what I have seen here, how the most of the professionals work with the children. So you need to train the child outside. If the child is moving with the hand like this, you need to stop that. You understand? Or if the child is not talking, you need to force the child to say the word in order to give the water. It's like changing the child from outside.
Reinforcement.
Yes, reinforcement the child from outside in order to change the internally, or to make the child healthy, which from my perspective and from what I'm seeing from the parents is that actually is opposite. It's opposite approach. Before you mentioned, Nevena, because I was learning a long time ago. I'm not so old, but it was a long time ago. You're not listening?
I cannot hear you. I don't know. The others are
now
having
it's
issues
okay?
with me.
It's okay now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. It's okay?
I cannot hear. Yes, now it's fine. Yes.
Now it's fine. So
yeah.
what should I repeat? I don't know. I was talking that before.
Not too old. This is what you said. This is the last thing you said.
Once again?
You're not too old.
I'm not too old, but I was studying a long time ago.
You're not old at all.
When I was studying in the books of developmental psychology, none of these words in terms of autism, because it was the famous one today, was mentioned twice. Nothing was written about it. You understand?
Correct.
And now I every day with the people that I know and I don't know, clients, for example, that are coming, every second child has some issue. So I was making a research about this in terms of, is this because we are starting somehow identifying the children earlier and they really have issues, and there are really so many children that have issues, or is something else? You mentioned the business, I'm not sure, but there is something that we still don't know. We are still not aware. However, from my perspective, and from what I know, from even from personal perspective, from professional perspective, the approach before was opposite in terms of helping the child to solve the issues inside in order to change the behavior. It was another way of doing things. And when you are forcing the child to change and forcing the parents to, for example, to stop the child every time that the child is acting like not normal, actually we are making more damage. This is my perspective. Because
exactly, I absolutely agree, Blagica, because you cannot change. The issue is always deeper. I mean, I work with coaching with parents, not just disabilities, but in regular creating the harmony, and they would come to me and say, okay, the child is not listening, or he come and he hits me. Should I put him to timeout? And they even pay coaches who told them put him in timeout. And I'm like, timeout is curing the symptom, but you're not curing the cause. What is the cause? Why is your child feeling angry at you? What are they going through emotionally that they come and they hit you and they behave like this? So you really have to go always inside, always with yourself, always with, but a lot of people, they don't want to accept this. They don't want to say, oh, I have to work on myself. No, it's easier to cure, just the behavior so people don't notice, people still are worried what other people are going to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so just want to add that usually professionals are criticizing the parents, like, your child is like that because you are very good in terms of you are allowing the child to do everything. Like it's your fault that you are not able, for example, to train your child not to act like not normal. Or you need to learn the child of 2 years, 3 years to sit still in the kindergarten. You understand? It's and then the parents are like blaming themselves. They don't know what to do. They do not have a proper care. They do not have enough information, and usually they actually avoid to have this kind of conversation anymore with any kind of teachers or educators, because it's a very confusing field for them. They really don't know what is right or wrong. If you want to accept the child, from my perspective, it means that you are accepting it as it is. You are following the needs, you are giving support whenever needed, and changing the environment in order to give the proper answer to the needs of the child. This is when we talk about inclusion, because Alexandra mentioned, this is what is expected from the schools. It's not to make another child, not to change the child. That was my point.
Sometimes the parents are ashamed to talk about it, and when they enroll children in school, they don't always say
Say the truth.
Yes,
I don't want to share it.
Yes, at first grade, I had a child with epilepsy. I didn't know about it. I didn't know. But he had an attack. Yes, he had attack.
Epileptic.
And in the classroom with every other children, and I didn't know what is happening. Really, I was upset, but still calm for the sake of the other children. And then I said, children, let's play out, so I can call mother or some
parent.
Yes, to come, but it was very stressful because I laid him on the bed. I didn't know what to do.
But Biljana, as an educator, you have to know what you're not nurse.
But I
not
didn't
nurse.
know.
You don't know the symptoms, and all the educators is the same. You have to know what is the diagnosis of the child. Listen, teacher, if this happened, you have to know this is your reaction.
And when the mother came, she saw me that I was upset. I started crying.
Sure.
I didn't know.
You can lose the child in the spot. If you swallow the tongue, yes.
Yes, and she said, normalno.
It's normal to be happen too.
Yes, and then I said, I called her, to came after that and to tell me, and really it was stressful. So I think that the parents are hiding it.
Yes,
and they're ashamed.
Completely wrong. What is completely wrong? What is completely wrong? Thank you, Biljana. Let me see Maggie. Maggie?
Yes.
Yes, dear. Sorry, because see how we say that. Please, I told you, feel free and just ask. What is your teacher? She's there with you?
I have a few teachers, but I don't know whether they're okay to speak or not, because they also have some language problem also.
You will
anyway.
Translate. Feel free, no worries. The other participant, I think that you don't mind if we have like Malaysian language and Maggie will translate?
No, it's okay, because in our center, we normally when a child comes in, we will interview the parents.
Maggie, if you don't mind, would you like to turn on the camera? It's better, I mean, to have this eye contact. Show us your beautiful face.
Ayo, look bad. Okay, never mind. Because normally we will interview the parents to understand more about the child, the background, and if they have any other things like epilepsies, etc. So that we know if anything happens, we know what to do. The teachers know what to do. So we will understand. Then normally we will ask them for a medical report to tell us what the child is. Either is the ADHD or Down syndrome or whatever it is. You see. So actually, we know that this kind of labels, sometimes as they grow older, it may change, it may get for the better, or it may turn to something else. So normally we will monitor the children, we will teach them whatever the teachers in the center will do, you see. So recently we had also started the early intervention program for the younger children. So far so good, but now that we are in this present situation of this COVID-19, so there's not much because the center cannot be open. So our teachers are going online, Facebook Live, to teach the children some of the things like exercises, meditation, and all that. And we also have our teachers. We allocate each teacher a few children, so to follow up with them every day, see how they are, and
Maggie?
Parents actually are very supportive, and when we do have all these sessions on, they will open their Facebook for the children to follow, and they sometimes do it together with the children and all that. So they post in we have a Facebook group, in a WhatsApp group, and so we know how the child is doing at home during this period. Okay.
I cannot hear clearly, Maggie.
Yeah. Okay. What is it that you want me to tell them?
Okay. Okay. What is your question? What is your concern?
Actually, we are okay, but then the concern. That's why I say whether my teachers have any concern that they would like to ask or not.
You are just sharing. Okay. Perfect.
Sharing only what we are doing in our center. Okay.
How many kids do you have in the center?
About 40.
40? All of them, they're autistic or different with a different diagnosis?
Yeah, yes. Anyway, in Malaysia, the education system, they have for those like special children, we have special class for them to educate the special children, special needs children. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. If your teachers have something to add on it, or if they have any questions, just feel free, please. Blogits, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. We intentionally, I opened because you start to talk about perception, labeling, and I will go back on the presentation later on, and I will leave you this thing to you, perception, and you can, I will be your assistant with clicking on the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, we already discussed about if I can say, the biggest issue related to the treatment of the children with unique, if I can say, capabilities.
Yes.
What we didn't mention, and I really think is important, is that when we talk about inclusion, we do not include only children with special needs, but for inclusion, we have children that are coming from, for example, from different countries not speaking the language. We have children that are multi-talented. For example, they have, if I can say, above the average potentials for something, they need inclusion as well. Then, for example, poor children or children that are coming from some specific socioeconomic field, children that are suffering from violence, or children that, for example, live with one parent or no parents. So there are many categories of children that need to be included. It's not just what our focus is special needs, but inclusion doesn't mean that there is something that is missing, or something that is not adapting properly. But all these categories need special treatment, if I can say. And for each of them, we need to create the environment in which they can adapt. So when we talk, it's a wider picture. When we talk about the inclusion, whenever we discuss here, is actually when we discuss this like this at the beginning, when teachers and professionals are coming, they're saying, oh, we have only one child like that. Why do we need training? You understand? Or we have a few children, but you know, they need to go to another school. Why we need to train ourselves when 99% are healthy children? But whenever we start discussing on this way, and we are mentioning the categories, actually they are realizing that 60 to 70% of the children belong in the certain category, and they need a special treatment. So the resistance at the beginning is huge. The perception is the most important thing, because it's how we perceive the environment through our senses is a very subjective thing. And this is how we make the most of the mistakes related to the child, for example, that has some special needs, if I can say, and related to the whole environment. So actually my idea here was to discuss about this picture. Are you familiar with this picture? Have you ever seen this picture? So on the first viewing, what do you see? what do you think that this picture represents?
People fighting with a bull.
Okay.
Okay.
Like you can see it from different perspective. Is it an elephant? Is it a bull?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a sheep?
So when you're seeing it from different perspective, it can be a different thing.
True.
So
Actually,
someone is
what you just mentioned, dear Belagika, it's all about awareness and international mindedness.
We have,
If
Isra, sorry for interruption. There is Ivan. I don't know why. Ivan, you can join us in discussion. Blind man trying to describe the elephant from various parts of the elephant.
oh, it's something. It's a chat thing, right?
No. Ivan just text me and I share with you the what his opinion.
Yeah. It's a very old story. When I was a child, I'm told this story where 6 blind men describing an elephant. Yeah, one blind man holding the tail. They say that it's a small animal, feels like a snake, or another one was holding the leg and say, it's like a tree. Another one holding the ear will say it's like a sheet of paper, something to the effect. Yeah.
Ivan, sorry, because you join us later on. Are you teacher, educator, parent?
I'm neither. I'm like Maggie. I'm from Kiwanis.
You're from Malaysia.
I'm Kiwanis. Yeah. I'm Kiwanis. And from the national level. So I don't know, Maggie, whether she has explained to you. Kiwanis is a NGO in a global NGO in Malaysia. We have 60 over clubs with 1,500 members, and we run we have about 20 centers for special needs children.
Only in Malaysia?
Only in Malaysia, yeah. Only in Malaysia.
It's really good to have you here.
Yeah, so one of the initiatives the national office trying to do is to do something that we can support all these centers so that they have a good sustainable service for the special needs education in Malaysia. And Maggie, the center that she manages is one of the bigger centers that we have for multiple afflictions, autism, Down, various needs. We also have a very strong Down syndrome intervention program. We have 6 centers we're running throughout Malaysia that offers intervention program for Down syndrome in Malaysia. So that Down syndrome program has been running for 30 years. So those are some of the things we do in Malaysia. Yeah, I'm proud to be
really
associated.
good to have you here, and really you came later, but it will be grateful if you're gonna go to share your experience from Malaysia. If you don't mind, turn on the camera. I'm not going to tell you if you have a makeup. Hello, Van. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Yvette.
Apologies for being late. I just got back from a wake. A friend's mother passed away, so I got back late.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
We're sorry to hear that.
So you like me to share about Kiwanis or about the special needs in Malaysia?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Ladies,
in
are you fine with that?
Malaysia, I'm the only, okay. Sorry, I'm not the only.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. Okay. In Malaysia, I think there's approximately, I think if I'm not mistaken, there's approximately about 2,000 plus registered children with disability. the and mental disability and intellectual disability. And as what Maggie has said, as mentioned, the government in the schools, they offer special needs education as well in the school, in the mainstream schools. All in all, we have about 2,000 schools that offer special needs education in Malaysia, out of 10,000 schools.
Under Kuan is under your organization.
No, I'm just giving you the big picture first.
For Malaysia.
That's the whole in Malaysia. So I quoted the wrong statistics earlier on. We have more than, I think we got a lot of registered children with disabilities, of which most of them are being served under the mainstream education that offers special needs education. On top, but that the mainstream schools, children will go from 7 years old of 15 to 18 years old. 15 years old, then it stops. And then and what Kiwanis try to do is we try to cover gaps below those below 7 years old. So we provide the early intervention for Down syndrome.
Like
there
early
are other
intervention.
Yeah. Okay. So like the Down syndrome that we have, children you can bring your child diagnosed with Down as early as 2 months old to the center, and then there'll be teacher there to educate or to guide the parents how to manage a Down child. Similarly, there's other organizations like National Autism Society of Malaysia that provides intervention program for autistic child. We also have Dyslexia Association that provides early intervention for dyslexic child. But then the idea is so that they can go to the mainstream schools.
Like inclusion, how we treat over here inclusion.
The education system offers inclusion as well. But the way the government school does it is they will do some diagnosis of the child. So those child that is very high functional, they can participate in the normal classes. Or they can select for certain subjects like art and craft. They can join the normal children. So they try the mainstream will try to provide inclusion as well. But those children which is low functional, then they will have their own separate classes, but within the mainstream school.
Not in the separate school.
Yes. So, but what Kiwanis does is we leave that to the government, the mainstream education system. What we do is we complement the government. So some of these children, they go to the schools in a day, but after school, they may come to the center.
It's like daily educational center or daycare center, because I want to clarify.
It is educational. They provide. They do provide. We do provide certain skills, more for the living skills.
You're preparing them for the real life.
Yes. So, but once they reach the age of 15 and above, the mainstream education will not be able to cater for them for quite a bit. So then we have our own centers. For example, the center that Maggie mentioned, quite a large number, a proportion of the students that are actually above 15 years old, where and some of them probably they didn't have a chance to get assistance for a normal living or skills for normal living. So when they come to the center, one of the few things that the centers will try to do is to coach the child or the young adults to try to lead a normal life or independent life.
Yes,
so
correct.
so quite a number of our centers, they do that, especially for the bigger children, 15 years and above.
Ivan, let me just interrupt you and let me ask you. For example, they will go out from the center. What about after that? Are you responsible for bring them back as an, I don't know, assistant, as an educator, same to help and support the center itself? Because to feel themselves, they're responsible. They able and capable to do the things.
Okay. Maggie, correct me if I'm wrong. I think some of the high functional trainees in the Maggie's center, they do become like an assistant teacher to the class. Yeah. So, but we not all of them. There'll be some of them that are very high functional and all that. Then they get a chance to become like an employee or a assistant teacher in the center. And we also have a centers that what we call a job training center.
That was
one of the
my
center that we have. Yeah. So one of the centers that we have, they actually coach the children or the trainees to bake cookies and to they become the students themselves become like an entrepreneur. They bake cookies and the center will coach them how to bake the cookies, pack the cookies. Those that are capable will be also doing delivery of the
feel
cookies.
Themselves that they're useful for the society.
Yes, but we are. I think there are not many that we are able to do, but we do what we can.
For sure.
So we have about, for this so-called job training center, we have 1, 2, 3. We got about 4 of it. 4 centers that does job training.
That is under you, under
Kiwanis, under Kiwanis. Yes.
Under Kiwanis.
Yep.
Great. Thank you for sharing. I would like to ask, do you have some questions for Ivan? Because he's coming from the completely different part of the world. We are, I think, here, Asia, Europe, Middle East.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the.
Okay, Blagita, are you here?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I just wanted to add, Alexandra, in our universities as well, employment of people with disabilities is a big. So we are talking about education. What's going to happen with them when they're 16, 17, 18? So we have to prepare them. It's not about them learning the math. It's about learning how to use money. They want to go buy groceries or supermarket. It's those skills they need to know so they can be independent as much as possible. And then where we're going to employ them, and this is something I feel it's missing here. Maybe Alexandra, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's definitely missing. What are we doing with these children? There should be a system where we can employ them. Like he said, companies should have a department where they can employ those people on very easy tasks, the machines where they can just press or pack the cookies or photocopy the newspaper, whatever it is. So this is something that before we put a big, I know in Serbia when I started employment of these people, we had the specific companies, we trained them for specific occupations. That was the goal. And I just wanted to add earlier, Blagica was talking about inclusion. And
Nevena, just second before, because we are on that topic, all Europe, they have like, how did you mention companies? What they're hiring, 80% of the staff need to be with the special needs, and only 20% of the staff are without the diagnosis. Imagine, Ivan, if 80% of the people who are useful for the society, and that one, the people who are managing and dealing the company, only the owners and some managerial level belong to this, let's say, the normal people. And 80% of them, based on the government, they have to be 80% with the people of disabilities. And they're participating in the society. In Macedonia, I think there is a lot of printing companies. I don't know yet, but there is. Blagica Biljana, you can just correct me. And all Europe is the same. Yes, all the Europe is the same how we do have. Sorry, Nevena, because we've been on that topic. And
yeah, very good. Very important topic. I just wanted to add earlier about inclusion. You know, I remember I was just starting my university when inclusion was part of the law in 2009. So I started the University for Special Needs, and it was a big topic. And for me, inclusion, like Blagica said, it's really us going out the box, because before we were a communist country and everybody had to fit in the box, and you know, there is only one correct answer still in school up to these days. So if you don't do the good answer, you're not a good student, which is completely ridiculous. And now the whole inclusion idea for me is the society opening up to understand that people are different, that people have different needs, they come from different backgrounds, and they can achieve different things. And it doesn't matter if everybody is high achiever in school or if everybody go to university, you know. So we shouldn't measure people like that. So for me, inclusion is really more about the whole society opening up, because before, these people were institutions. They live, if you have cerebral palsy, you live in an institution for cerebral palsy, you're not even in the family. This is a communist way of thinking where we were placing them, and then you never even had a chance to see those people outside. You never had experience. That's why people are afraid up to this day. Oh my God, like, you know, he has autism or Down syndrome, what should I do? Because they never saw it in their life. Once you were exposed to it and you open up and you see, oh, there is nothing wrong, like they're so cute, like Down syndrome are the cutest and nicest people in the planet, you know, then you are like, oh, I love these people, I love being around them. And that's inclusion for me, really opening the whole society mindset as well. And then the teachers are also trained, okay, you have to do this lesson and you have to do it on Wednesday. What if the child is not interested to listen to that lesson on Wednesday? But they're under pressure because they're told they have to do this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Correct. Completely ridiculous, because children, you need to plan your activities based on children as well. If they're not focusing, then change the activity, change the lesson plan, whatever you have to do, because the goal is to teach them something, whatever it is, but you have to teach them.
Because Nevena, psychologically, even Blagica can add on this, because usually we do work on our conscious mind, but what about subconscious mind? You know, in the school, okay, let's write, and that is conscious thing, but what about if my subconscious is fighting and doesn't want? And with the kids with a special need, this is the, you know, you can see this difference, how to you know, to hide this conscious mind and awake the unconscious, subconscious part of the brain. Blagica, am I right? I mean, I'm talking this psychologically.
Yeah, in terms of this, I want to ask you to go to, there is one slide when there are different animals and a teacher, just to have a visual representation of what we are talking about, and we can get back here. No,
yeah,
down.
Where? Understanding?
More, go. And this one, yeah.
Okay.
So what is currently happening in the school is what is represented in the picture. So we have different animals, and the teacher is saying, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb the tree. And we have an elephant, we have a monkey, we have a fish. So we have different animals with different potentials, different skills. And the task is the same for everyone. So what do you think? Who will be higher achiever or lower achiever? Who will be more successful here? What do you think?
What do you think of the monkey?
Monkey.
What about the others? What we are going to say if we make a metaphor or parallel with the school?
They're gonna be good in certain ways. Instead of climbing the tree, they're gonna be good in, let's say, what do we have? the fish, the seal, the penguin, like the penguin's skill is to walk and swim in the ice or in the snow. So each one of these animals is good enough in certain ways if they're not gonna climb the tree like the monkey.
So
they are fulfilling the roles in the world. You know, we are fulfilling the roles in the world on a different way. So not everybody should be a teacher, not everybody should be engineer. We need
doctor.
Who's gonna paint, the doctors and lawyers. We need people who's gonna paint the house. We need people who's gonna build the house. We need people who's gonna learn, I don't know, to clean or I don't know, whatever it is. So these animals, they all have different roles. They live in a different way. They need different surroundings. So this is exactly how the school system is, unfortunately.
Okay, but Nevin, I will ask you one thing now, because yes, I agree with these things. You said that the more, even the fish maybe will try to find the way to do the things. Even it's the same with the kids. Special needs kids, they need the force, they need the power, they need the time, they need to suffer to achieve the thing. But from the other side of the point now, how we're gonna go to prepare them for the real world, because this is the real world, what you can see in the picture.
You mean in schools, what's expected from
in the school? Yes, in the
school. This is the real world that we created. So you understand,
created in our perception, in our perception,
in our perception. So we are the ones. I train teachers so much. I said, look, they're like, I don't know what to do this child, they're not listening. I tell them, maybe you're not interesting. If you're interesting enough, they will listen to you. So they're not listening in school, they don't like math. Well, I didn't like math until I found a teacher who was so interesting that I loved it. You understand? So this is our perspective of a real world. And let's be honest, maybe climbing the tree is absolutely unnecessary for the fish. You understand? Maybe for a child with special needs, doing certain tasks, academic tasks, will be unnecessary for their life. We want to
doing fraction.
Exactly. We want to find what is their interest, what they can succeed in, how they can contribute in community, how they can feel good and be fulfilled, and we focus them in that direction.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Quite a few of our centers, including the one that Maggie is managing, they use art and musicality, you know. So what I've seen is that a lot of these a lot of these special children, they are quite talented. And they get very motivated when they are able to perform dance. They like to dance. They like to sing. They like to play musical instruments. Yeah. So a lot of them seem to gravitate towards arts and performing arts, or even artwork. We got a few of them that's very talented artists as well. So I find that from my personal view is we don't need to gear them for academic achievement. We can probably look at other talents or other skills or competency that they might have, which and we should groom them in that direction. What they are interested in. That's what I've seen very successful in this some of the centers that we have.
Great.
So
thank you for sharing. Yes, Lagita.
What is interesting for me is that you all saw the monkey, but no one saw the bird. There is a bird.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, related to the perception. Maybe Alexandra, you can go back to the.
Yeah, I will go back. Yes, Ivan was right talking about the. Is it fine for you if I will share the story?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to reach faster as I can. Long ago, 6 old men lived in a village in India. Each was born blind. The other villagers loved the old man and kept them away from harm. Since the blind man could not see the world for themselves, they had to imagine many of its wonders. They listened carefully to the stories told by travel to learn what they could about life outside the village. The men were curious about many of stories they heard, but they were most curious about the elephants. They were told the elephants could trample forests, carry huge burdens, and frighten young and old with their loud trumpet calls. But also knew that the Raja's daughter rode an elephant when she traveled in her father's kingdom. Would the Rajan let his daughter get near such a dangerous creature? See how was the explanation of the elephant. The old man argued day and night about the elephants, and the elephant must be the powerful giant, claimed the first blind man. The second one say, no, you must be wrong. An elephant must be graceful and gentle if a princess is to ride on its back. Then the third one say, no, you're wrong. I have heard that an elephant can pierce a man's heart with its terrible horn. The fourth one said, no, you're mistaken, all of you. An elephant is nothing more than a large sort of cow. You know how people aggregate. I'm sure that an elephant is something magical, said the fifth one. That would explain why the Raja's daughter can travel safely through the kingdom. The sixth one say, no, I don't believe to everyone, all of you, we are wrong. I think we are the victims of cruel joke. What they did to don't go to read the story, what they did, they decided, let me go back to the picture. They decided to go all of them and catch the different part of the elephant. And Blagita, are you going to continue with explanation, or you want me to go with the story?
You can go on, yes, just to continue with this to get the point. Yeah.
Okay. You want me to read? A young boy from their village was selected to guide the blind man on their journey. The smallest man put his hand on the boy's shoulder. The second blind man put his hand on his friend's shoulder, and so on until the sixth man. When the blind man reached the palace, they were greeted by an old friend from their village who worked as a gardener on the palace grounds. Their friend led them to the courtyard. There stood an elephant. The blind man stepped forward to touch the creature that was the subject of so many arguments. The first blind man reached out and touched the side of the huge animal. An elephant is smooth and solid like a wall, he declared. It must be powerful. The second blind man put his hand on the elephant's limber trunk. An elephant is like a giant snake, he announced. The third blind man felt an elephant point tusk. I was right, he decided. This creature is as sharp and deadly as a spear. The fourth blind man touched one of the elephant's four legs. What we have here, he said, is an extremely large cow. The fifth blind man felt the elephant giant ear. I believe an elephant is like a huge fan or maybe a magic carpet that can fly over mountains and tree tops, he said. The sixth blind man gave a tug on the elephant horse's tail. Why, this is nothing more than a piece of old rope, dangerous. The gardener led his friends to the shade of a tree. Sit here and rest for a long journey home. He said, I will bring you some water to drink. While they waited, the sixth blind man talked about the elephant. An elephant is like a wolf, said the first blind man. Sure, we can finally agree on that. That was his first statement and first perception about the elephant. A wolf, an elephant is a giant snake, answered the second blind man who caught him for the tail. It's spread, I tell you, said the third blind man. I'm certain it's a giant cow, said the fourth blind man. Magic carpet, there is no doubt, said the fifth blind man. Don't you see, said the sixth blind man. Someone used a rope to trick us. Their argument continued. It's a wolf, snake, spear, cow, carpet, rope. Depend on their perception. How can each of you be so certain you are right as the ruler? The sixth blind man considered the question, and then, knowing the Raja to be very wise man, they decided to say nothing at all. The elephant is very large animal, say the Raja kindly. Each man touched only one part. Perhaps if you put the parts together, you will see the truth. Now, let me finish my nap in peace. When their friend returned to the garden with the cool water, the 6 men rested quietly in the shade. Think about Raja's advice. He's right. To learn the truth, we must put all the parts together. Let's discuss this on journey home. I don't know how you're familiar with this story, but let me go to the picture back. Blagica, are you here, all of you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, wait for a second. You can go with explanation shortly, briefly. By the way, you know, we didn't cover 30% and we are almost done. The time, I don't know, flew away.
Yeah, well, actually, this is like a summary of everything that we discussed, that if we just touch one part as a professionals, as educators, as people that are trying to do their job on the best way, but if we put the label and we get stuck with it, and we just touch that part, probably we are not going to see the whole picture. So in order to be able to approach the child in every single moment, we need to take different aspects. We need to be open-minded, to be able to take a different perspective to approach the things. It's a situational issue, so we need to approach every single child as a unique and to as a team. I'm talking now that this is a teamwork. It's not just one person work. So it must be an inclusion team in the schools that will include the teachers, the psychologists, special needs educators, speech therapists, social workers. So different people with different background that will try to find the appropriate solution and create the appropriate program for every single child, like the picture that we saw with the fish, elephant, bird. So we need to create the environment in which they will give the maximum and develop the maximum of the competencies that they can use whenever they finish the school. So what we have in the moment is that we measure all of the children on the same way. They sit on the same chairs. It's the environment in which not if I can say, the very big amount of the children are not able to adapt because they have their own needs. So we need to adapt the environment to be appropriate for all of them and build the programs that are not going to measure them with grades, but will measure the competencies.
With the skills, correct. How they used to say here, adjust the child to the classroom. No, you have to adjust the classroom, the environment to the child.
Everything. There are many technical issues, so they cannot, all of them are not capable to sit in that chair that they have.
Correct.
It should be an open space wherever they can move, or you mentioned the timing. Why we have, for example, in our country, 45 minutes is one lecture. So what is happening in the developed European countries, for example, they are completely leaving this approach aside. So what they do is a phenomenological, holistic approach in which all of the, for example, 5 different teachers that teach different subjects, they all create a workshop in which children learn through experience, not through telling them what to do. For example, if the topic is the water, there will be a chemistry teacher, maybe mathematics teacher. So different teachers can, for example, discuss about the topic from different perspective, not just to talk, but to give them opportunity to learn how to use, for example, the water and create very creative solutions based on the experience. So experiential teaching, phenomenological approach and holistic approach is something that we should think about to get out from the box in which we are somehow stuck because of the many historical and many theoretical if I can say, theories from before. So just to open our minds and to follow the needs in here and now. Not to be in the past, not to be in the future, but to be with the children in here and now, and try to find the most appropriate creative solution for all of them. If that solution is not working, we will start all over again, making analysis, creating new solutions, until we find the appropriate solution for every single child in the school, which from the other side is a huge challenge, because in terms of the technical opportunities, skills of the professionals, services that are open for them, we are still not there. So we need to
yes, Blagica, that's the reason why I shared the circle of action. Let me, are you going to continue or you want me to do it?
So this is what I was sharing right now, that we have a situation, we have a problem, we are measuring, collecting data, involving parents in the process of collecting data. You mentioned nuns or people that care,
nannies, yes,
nannies, that they take care for the child. Maybe some other specialists from outside of the home and the school that work with the child. So we need to call and ask all of them, what's going on? How is the development of the child? It's not just to get stuck into the school setting. So we need to involve every single person that has an influence on the development of the child into the data collection process. Based on that, we make analysis in order to have a clear understanding about what is going on. Based on that, we bring the decision what we are going to do. We take an action to implement that. We control and checking, is this working? If this is not working, we are starting all over again.
From the beginning.
It's not up to the child to adapt. It's up to us to find the appropriate way to help into the process of developing all of the possible skills that the child has. Okay.
And let me go and I would like to discuss about the actions, what are subjects of error. Usually, we can analyze the real situation, I mean the current situation and the reaction and action of the child, what is in front of you, but you have no idea. Even Nevin mentioned that you have no idea what's going on, what are the causes for that, for this, what's happening. And now we are just visualizing the perception in our head, but it's our perception, is subjective way of perceiving the things. Then it will be up to us how we are going to understand, how we are going to make the future projection, what type of decision we are going to bring. Again, it's a question mark, are they right or wrong? How we are going to evaluate, how we're going to go to make the measurement of the performance and improvement of the child, and how we will get the feedback to whom. Now the question is, are the parents are right people to get the feedback? Yes, they are. But to the other side, are we getting the right feedback from them? If we have the wrong feedback from the parents, then how we can be sure that the perception, what the parents bring us to the plate, that is the right perception from their side. Can you understand now why the teamwork is much more than important for these things, for understand their needs, for understand their demands, and take an action based on the needs and demands of these kids, and prepare them, put them in the package, nice package, and you know, put them outside in the real world. But when they will go to the real world, we are here, we are the educators to make them ready to face the real world. Because unfortunately, the real world, it's not honey and milk, unfortunately, for everyone. And imagine, especially in the countries where we do have the high level of discrimination, especially for the special needs, the people. I'm not talking, sorry, only about the kids. How they're gonna go to face? If we're gonna go to keep them in the Pandoran box, and when they will go outside from the box, how they will react? First, it will be their reaction. And again, psychologically, how they're gonna go to digest in their subconscious mind, when already they have something what we prepare them for the reality. I mean, I think that I'm clear. I think that something's my screen is frozen. Can you hear me? Can you see me or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have something to add on this subjects of error, or do you have something to comment?
Constant work, Alexandra, to really educate the society. Like you said, when they go to real world, the problem are not them, and we are the problem because we are reacting. Oh my God, you know, we, especially with physical disabilities,
Correct.
so many children, I saw children with no arms, no legs, no eyes, whatever. And if when you see it first, you know, you are in shock because you never saw something like that. And after a while, you start seeing a child behind a disability, but at the beginning, you're in shock. And later on, people, you know, they get even shy. They don't want to go out because they know everybody's staring at them because they're different. And this is just, but we have to expose the society. We have to just keep doing what we're doing and educate the people and the parents. And as a society, we are raising always our awareness. So we are much further where we were 40, 50 years ago. And I'm sure we'll go even further in the future.
Ivan, are you still with us? Isra?
Yeah, yes. I'm
Yeah.
still here. I'm just absorbing what I've heard. Your slide on the.
Do you want me to go back?
No, I can't remember the full sentence. Something to do with the error. What was the?
Okay, I'm going to share with you again. Give me a second. Oh, wait. I want it to be, because I was thinking to see all of you. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yeah, okay. Our actions are subjects of error. Okay. I just want to share something, and you can correct me whether, just for me to understand better this topic.
Do you need the slide? Do you need the slide?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay, I want to see all of you in the screen.
Okay, I'll subjects. Okay. There's a story or an incident that I'd like to share, and then you can tell me whether this is right smack on the target based on the slide that you have presented. One child is one child that I know is an autistic child, but in the culture in Malaysia, when the child is autistic, I think the parent is probably very concerned about the child. That what will happen with the child when the parent is no longer around. So what the father tried to do was to really force certain knowledge or skills on the child, and the way that he does it is very, very strict, very scary for the child. So the child couldn't progress much until the child. I mean, the action of the parent was with good intention, but the result is totally opposite of what he intended to be. So when this child was brought to the center, the teacher was more perceptive and more patient with the child, and try to develop the child's understanding and the child's skills. So she discovered the child is good at memorizing numbers, and the child somehow is very sensitive. And there's one time that I think the mother was sick, and then the child was the father was being very impatient with the child, but the teacher spoke to the child and tried to understand, and eventually when the father returned to pick up the child in the evening, the teacher understood that the child was very concerned for the mother who is sick. So and explained to the father and all that. Now, but through that process, over the years that the child was with the center, the father began to see and approach the rehabilitation or the remedial action for the child very differently, a softer approach and all that. No, and not forcing the child to be more independent. So I think what the point that you're trying to make is that when you deal with a special needs child, although you have a good intention, but if you approach it in the wrong manner, with the wrong actions, you will not get the right result.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Approach is very important. The approach is very important, and discover his strengths. If you ask me, based on my experience, that is the most important thing. How are we gonna go to approach? Believe me, the special need kids are, even you have that experience. It's so difficult to reach them, to start to talk to them, to start to explain to them. And now, how are we gonna go to build the approach to them? That's it. As an educator, as a parent, how are we gonna go to do it? It's in our hand. Then how are we gonna go to discover their strengths?
That's what I find that. I mean, I visited all the special needs centers in run by Kiwanis in Malaysia, and I've seen, and what I do realize is the teachers for this are a special breed of people. They really need to have the patience. They really need to try to understand and find ways and means to figure out what's the child's problem or issues, things like that. So that's very interesting. On the topic of inclusion, one of the centers we have, what they try to do is to mix or try to put together the special children with the normal children. So
how it's working that in Malaysia? How it's working over there? It's issue for the teachers, for everyone.
Yeah, it's still what I would say experimental. We got what one of the centers, what they did was they bring children from a normal school, with the teens and all that, together with the special children, and they do activity together. So the intention is to expose to the normal kids about the various diagnoses of special needs, and especially the where is intellectual disability. I mean, physical disability is very clear, straightforward for everybody, whether you're blind, you're deaf, or you're dumb, or you're lacking in arms or things like that.
But still, you don't know what's happening in the brain.
Yeah, that's where. So the normal kids don't understand what is Down syndrome, what is autism, what's dyslexia, stuff like that. So the putting them together, I think the result so far has been quite encouraging, whereby the normal children are exposed and they understand better and appreciate children that they have that shortcoming. That's something that we might want to try and promote. There's a project in Kiwanis in the US. They call it the Penguin Project, where we have someone who's got access to musicals, rights to a musical, like and what he does is he brings together the special children and the normal children, and together they do a production. And by doing that is basically to practice the concept of inclusion, so that the normal and the special needs are they work together, and they to appreciate that you are just normal within each other.
Sure. They are like all of us. We are unique.
Yeah.
All of us.
So that's what they're doing. I mean, we are trying to also see whether we can try and do that and get more encouraging inclusion at all levels. And hopefully the young generation can grow older and become adults, they will accept. They will accept, and they can appreciate special needs of children as well.
Yes, you're right. You know, this is, I saw Isra. Isra, she's watching her watch, but I know, Isra, this is deep topic, and believe me, we didn't cover 20% of that what we planned. And imagine we planned 40 people, and imagine I know.
I can. May I suggest at the end of this, maybe you can provide each other's contacts, and then we can.
That's the reason. Yes, what I want to tell you, because I will give Blagitsa to explain about her part. I will explain from my part. Nevin, I think, is still here, or she left.
I'm here. Yeah. Sorry, there is some construction going on, and
no worries. No worries. Even it's good because 3 of us, we are in the, I mean, with completely same and didn't, you know, I'm trying to read, in addition to patient and love, the teacher must be very careful to observe the children. Yes, you're right, Lucas. I'm just reading the comments from the participant. We can give you, and you can follow us in the Facebook pages. I think that you find us from Facebook. Am I right, Ivan?
Say again.
Did you find this webinar on Facebook?
I'm trying to recollect where did I see it.
Okay, never mind.
I think it was an email that I received.
Yeah. You received from the email, okay. But we do have provided the different services, different courses for the teachers, and we're organizing. Nevina she's the, Nevina, if I'm not wrong, you are the parent coaching, am I right?
Yes, I provide coaching for parents and families.
You can, she can give you her information. I'm the trainer for CBT, REBT, and therapeutic art. Blagitsa, Isra, this is very important for you because I want this information to be developed in Saudi. When you try, today we spoke about the Gestalt. Even for Ivan, it's very interesting. If you're interested to start with the Gestalt program in Malaysia and in Saudi, if you need more information, we can organize the webinar and explain about these things, about the coaching, about the training, what we can provide for you, and everything what is related.
Fantastic. Yes, for sure. Sure, I would love to.
Blagitsa, you can explain shortly about the Gestalt?
Well, it is an education for Gestalt psychotherapy, which is accredited in Europe and exists, for example, in Macedonia longer than 35 years. So it's an approach that is accepted all around the world and pretty much used in different settings with different generations. So with this, with coronavirus, actually we explored the option for the first time to organize complete virtual or online training for Gestalt that is functioning. So there is a group that is educating group of students that is constantly working, and it's continuous work that never stops. So on this Gestalt Training Institute, I send you the Facebook page. You can follow the dates and be aware of the events that we are organizing. And if you're interested, we can arrange another info session, or we can give you all of the information, training, program, and everything else that you need. So you can find me on 2 pages on Facebook, Gestalt Training Institute and Blagitsa Rizoskavani. So there are 2 different pages. One is my personal, the other is of the Institute. And you can write me an email anytime, or you can send me some message on Facebook so we can communicate.
Isra, I was going to tell you, because you're in education over there, you can spread this information. I mean, I think maybe you heard, maybe it's new for you. I think in the Middle East, it's like a science fiction. And we try to bring that Gestalt over here because it's a completely educational program. It's psychotherapy, what these people really they need. I mean, even, you know, I want them to understand. You remember that when I saw you last time, we planned to come in Saudi, but then you remember a lot of things happen, and this happened, these things now, and how is your plan? How we can do you want me to leave on you to organize the group of people? I mean, teachers, psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors who will be interested for the info session.
That will be great. If I'm going just to tell the administrators, I guess they will be very enthusiastic about this. Although, because here in Saudi Arabia, usually all teachers travel back to their countries, but with this situation, everybody stays home, and I guess they're not with their families now. So my imagination is they got some time to attend like these trainings and these meetings. I will be informing my supervisor or the administrators so they can tell you or tell me to contact you to have a certain date to manage our meeting.
Perfect, Isra. Thank you so much.
No
Ivan,
worries.
what about? Thank you. Ivan, what about you from your side? Are you interested to? I mean, feel free to tell me what is your. I mean, what do you need? Don't tell me that you need $1 million because I cannot provide that. I don't know Blagica and Evena.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Right now in Kiwanis, Malaysia, what we are doing is we are starting an academy, a Kiwanis Academy, which has a three core area that we want to focus on. One is youth program, youth development, and youth leadership and youth values development. One more is for special needs education, because we have 20 centers and we want to give us support to all these centers. So we're looking at curriculum, subject matter, or for us to develop for these teachers that we have, the workforce that we have, and eventually we will try to open up to even the other centers. For your information, the government in Malaysia, they provide funding, well, not a lot, but a bit of funding for what they call community-based rehabilitation for special needs. So, and the government has 500 of such centers that has been established, and they've been funding in Malaysia. 500. Kiwanis only we are 20, and we are not part of that under government funded. We are most of our centers are public funded.
Okay.
So we felt that if Kiwanis put up an academy that provides special needs assistance and special needs education for the teachers, for the stakeholders, we believe that we can create a better community for the special needs in Malaysia. So we are, and if we do it right, we can even expand to the other Kiwanis nations as well, in Philippines and all that. So I mean, it'd be interesting to see how we can work together on this.
May I suggest you something? Because we are, our office is in Canada, and we are providing Canadian education. We can make the collaboration in between the training institute in Canada and in Malaysia, and we can provide the courses together with the curriculum, what can go like in 1 month, depend of the timing, what will be from the Canadian government.
Fantastic. So what we can, maybe I can, I'm having a meeting with our committee members this Wednesday. Then I will discuss what I have.
Perfect.
What I've heard and all that.
You have my email. I wrote my email over there. Did you copy?
Very long. at royalcanadianacademy.com.
Yes.
Okay.
No, sorry. .co. Wait. I'll write again.
.co. No M.
.co.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. I don't have my specs with me, and see, I cannot see. Okay. I will be in touch. I have your email, and if you need any meeting, and even I was thinking with Blagica, same for you for this Gestalt training program, what we can develop over there in Malaysia. We can arrange the meeting. It's up to you, depend of your managerial thing. You're just looking to me like, what is that Gestalt? I know. It's strange.
Yeah, it's.
I know.
I mean, I just Google it. I have, but it's a very long Wikipedia article. I have not read it. I plan to look at it later.
No worries. Yeah. Do you want to arrange the one like conference with your managerial team, with the people who think that they can be involved? I can speak with the Blagica. If Nevena can find herself over there,
yeah, that'll be that'll be great. But I will discuss it this Wednesday, and then if we can get enough people to buy in, then we will organize something for the next step.
Sure. Thank you, Alexandra. I just wanted to add for me, I mostly work with families and parents. So I wrote my name. It's Nevena Bajalat. So let me write again. So connect with me on social media. Blagica, I connected with you. So I invite other people to just connect with me on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And then if you feel any families need any support, coaching, counseling, then obviously I'm mostly focusing on doing online anyway. I have clients from US and different countries. So in this situation, I'm going to switch totally to online. So it's the reality now. Thank you, Alexandra, for organizing. I have to go. We're a little bit past the time, but thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, Nevena.
Thank
See
you.
soon.
Thank you.
Hopefully
Thank you,
live.
Yes, hopefully.
Hopefully. Isra, thank you so much for being with us from Saudi.
Thank you, dear Dr. Alex. I'm very proud to be a part of this meeting. Thank
Pleasure is mine always, you know that. Hopefully to see you soon on your PhD.
Yeah, I hope. I'm still working in this. You hope. Thank you.
I will wait for you. I'm in touch with Blagica and we're gonna go to do. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I know that is a break time now in Saudi, or still not? Still
We have the lockdown. It starts 8 p.m.
Okay, Isra. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you for
everybody.
your
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Dr. Veronica.
Viliana,
Bye.
Viliana, thank you so much for being. Ivan, I will send you an email. Thank you for being with us.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.